Kira here with a scrapbook layout process video for Citrus Twist kits. So I am using the main kit for October, and that's all I use is just the main kit for this layout. So I started with this paper, and this was a Maggie Holmes Carousel collection paper. And I'll link all of the products that I use. I will link them down below, and I will link the website for Citrus Twist so you can check out this kit if you're interested in getting it. But I started with this paper that had like these little like arrow chevron thingies. I don't know what you want to call them. But I started with that, and I just fussy cut, not all of them, but about 3/4 of the paper I fussy cut. And then I just cut them down into different sizes because I wanted them to be kind of mismatched sizes. And then I arranged them in a pattern that I liked. And then once I had them all arranged, I went ahead and adhered them down. I just put the tiniest bit of adhesive down though, because I don't like it to gum up my sewing machine too much. So I just put the smallest amount that I know it's going to stay put for when I sew, but that won't leave a bunch of residue on my sewing needle. And then I just went ahead and stitched all along each of the little arrows like so, and I just used this like mint thread that I have, and mostly just because it was already in my sewing machine. I've talked about this before. I'm too lazy, way too lazy to change out colors in my sewing machine. So if I'm like, oh, this definitely needs to have mint, then I'll change it to mint. But then in the next layout, I'm like, well, I don't really care what color it is. Because really, for this layout, I could have used white, pink, mint, or teal, or yellow, and it would have been fine. I would have used any of those colors if that was what was in my sewing machine at the time. So yeah, I used mint, and that's what I did. So I'm going to use the stamp set that's included in the kit, and it's got all these cute little phrases on it, like yum and sweet, and then there's like tinier little words that say like life is or this is, things like that, and I decided to stamp sweet all over my page, and I did this in this gold ink, and this is like a true gold ink. I don't know if you guys have tried gold inks before, but I've tried a couple, and they do not end up looking gold. They end up looking brown, or just kind of like dirty gold, I guess, not like a nice crisp gold. And this gold is perfect. Like it almost looks like if you were to put gold embossing powder on your ink. That's what it ends up looking like. It's perfect. And I'll link that down below. I got this at Joann's. It was 50% off, and then I had a 20% off coupon on top of that. So I got a pack of, there was 4 inks in the pack, and it was like $4 for all those. And it's an awesome ink, so I'm really happy with it. So I stamped all around the layout with gold, and then I decided to use this ink, and this is an Alta New ink, and it's Mountain Mist is the color, and I just stamped life is above a few of the phrases, basically any of the sweets that weren't right underneath the paper where I was able to get, life is in there, I stamped that. Well, I guess that's not true because the one on top does not look like it has a stamp on top of it. Anyways, so now I'm going to go ahead and embellish, and I guess the reason I went with life is sweet all around my page is because this is a picture of my kids, and they are in a stroller, and this was grocery shopping, and this was right after Hurricane Harvey. We ran out of gas because everyone panicked in San Antonio and bought all the gas up and caused a gas shortage. And so we were not the panicky type and did not go and rush to the gas stations to fill up our tank, and so we ended up running out of gas, and we were really conservative with it before we ran out, but my husband had to miss a day of work because he didn't have gas to get down to work. And so, yeah, we for probably a week, we were walking to the grocery store to get our groceries because we live right across the street from an HEB. So we just walked right across the street and we would get our groceries. We'd get, we couldn't buy like a week's worth at a time. So we could only buy like groceries for that day because we couldn't carry them all back with us because we just had this stroller. So anyways, we walked to the store with the kids, and our kids, I mean, we have 2 toddlers. They're 1.5 and 3 years old, and they're both monsters, like 90% of the time, as toddlers are. And when we go to the grocery store, it's torture. Going to the grocery store with kids is torture. And it's why I love HEB pickup, because then you don't have to take the kids into the store. You can just drive up and they bring you your groceries and then you leave. And that's the greatest thing to ever exist. But obviously this week we couldn't do the HEB curbside pickup, so we had to go grocery shopping with our kids, and they were awful, and they kept wanting everything, and they always want to, like, Jonathan has to hold something the whole time, like, so he has, like, if we get cereal, like, he has to hold the cereal and he has to hand it to the cashier when we pay, and whatever. They're a nightmare in the store. So this picture was after we went grocery shopping. We ended up buying cookies just to shut them up because they were being so bad, and we just needed to get our shopping done. So we bought them cookies, and so we were getting ready to leave, and they're eating their cookie as we're leaving. So my title for this page is going to be, you can see that I put a little frame, and that's from the Turn the Page collection, but I put that little frame around Life is Sweet, and then I put that little ampersand ephemera piece over there. And then so my title, I originally was going to do this piece of washi, and it's wonderful is what the washi says. So I was going to do Life is Sweet and Wonderful, but I was like, that does not fit the story. Because life was not sweet and wonderful at this time. So I'm going to end up using that piece. You'll see in another layout, I end up using that piece of washi. I just put it on top of some cardstock and just put the washi there so I can use it as like a title. So I'll use that in another layout, and you'll see that later on. So then I was like, okay, no, that's not going to work. This sweet and wonderful is not how this day was. So I was like, sweet and sassy, because that's exactly how this day was. They got their sweet cookie, and they look pretty sweet in the picture, eating their cookies, but they were pretty sassy the entire time we were in the grocery store. But if you're a parent of young kids, you know that basically you will do anything just to make it out of the grocery store with everything that was on your list. Like, whatever you can do to make it out of the store, that's what you'll do. So, we have to do what we have to do as parents, and that's what I had to do to get my kids to just shut up and just let us finish our shopping trip. So that's pretty much what this layout is about. So I put a couple other pieces of ephemera from that Paige Evans Turn the Page collection kind of throughout the page in little clusters, and then I decided to use these little tiny word stickers from the Carousel collection, and they're like a teal color, and there's a pink as well, but I just used the teal ones with gold foiling, so it's really pretty. And I just put, I think there's one that's like so sweet, and I think that one says best friends. That's right next to their picture, and so I just stamped that down, and then I just used some black and white baker's twine from my stash, and I'm going to go ahead and just string that through this tag here on the side, and then I'll tuck that under there and kind of figure out, I was going to do kind of twirl it around and stuff, but I just kind of liked it just kind of laying there, I guess. Like, it doesn't have to be fancy all the time, right? So I kind of just like the way it looked like that. So I just let it do its thing. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere everything down now. I bumped a couple things up on foam, so it gives a little bit of dimension. And then I'll just go ahead and adhere everything down, adhere my twine down. And then I'm going to date stamp it and then call that done. So I hope you guys like this, and make sure you check out Citrus Twist Kits to see the October kits, and I will see you soon for another layout process video. Have a good day. Bye.